Hey everybody, this is Brad from Johnson Small Engines, better known as the one-handed mechanic. If I can do it, you can too. Today we are working on an older style yard machine. This is a 5 horsepower Tecumseh engine with a 22-inch path. And these are the oldies and the goodies. And I just wanted to show you a simple belt adjustment for your auger tension, which is this cable right here. It just feels very weak. And I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple tools that we need today. Okay, from left to right, I always use my 1/4-inch electric ratchet, 3/8 socket. If you guys have a regular ratchet, doesn't matter what size it is, as long as you have a 3/8 socket, it'll be fine. Pair of vice grips. If you have a 7/32 wrench, you can use it. And also we're gonna need a 3/8 wrench, so let's get to it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take off the cover to the belt, which is right here. And it should be a 10mm or a 3/8, depending on the year of the machine. Take up this side here. And you should just be able to pick up the cover and manipulate it out. Now the belt tension that we're going to be going on is this guy here. You can see up in here, it's going to be hard to see with the camera, but this is a spring. The spring is right here. And that spring, when you put the handle down, is supposed to actually have tension on it. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of tension on that spring. It's not really coming out much. It looks like the belt is taut, but the spring tension, in my eyes, that spring should be like sprung out. It's just, it'll work, but it's probably gonna, smoke the belt, and you're not gonna have, it's not gonna perform very well at all. So on these older style, I'm gonna show you around here where we adjust it. This right here is an old school adjusting method of doing it. Normally the adjusters would be down here. They went to a nice little design where they just slotted these out. This is the old style, it's not slotted out. You come up to here, and believe it or not, this is it right here. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna unlock this nut, which is a 3/8 wrench. And so your 7/32 wrench will fit right here. Or what I do is I just pinch this very gently with a pair of vice grips, and then I go ahead and use the 3/8 open end, and it's counterclockwise to loosen this. If this gets really rusted up, definitely use some PB Blaster. An important part about this is when you tighten this up, now you're gonna loosen the nut, and then you see the threads here, you're gonna screw this up in, and that will give you tension. But down here, if this cable starts to turn on you when you're turning this, that means that this little teeny ball down here is actually supposed to, it's like a half of a ball. It's not supposed to spin, okay, when you're turning this. And so this will stay stationary. It actually swivels in here. These always get corroded, and you may need to pinch these and lubricate this to get it to work again. I have had these so corroded that I had to literally just spin the cable too, just to get it a little bit more tight, but these eventually will loosen up. A little bit of PB Blaster on here, and then this will actually loosen up. But this one is actually very easy to adjust, and as you can see, I have screwed this up into the threads a lot. Let's go over and look at the spring again. Okay, so the spring is here. Now when I push the handle down, you see how it actually, you start to see the spring the spring is actually having tension on it now. That definitely needs to be a little bit more taut. And I can feel it starting to get tight down here on the cable. This is getting a little bit tight here. So we're getting there. And then if you need to, you can always lock it in, which I'm going to do now because I think it's getting close. Tighten that up. And if you adjust this all the way to the end and it's still loose, that means you're going to need a belt, or you may need a cable. Normally it's the belt that stretches, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up. Let's go back to the spring tension. Now you can see how that spring is opening up, and there's a lot of tension on it now. So that spring starts to tension on the handle up here, right about here. Okay, so that's about where the belt gets nice and snug, and then that tension just starts. Then I have another couple inches on the handle to go down. Okay, so at that point, I'm going to go ahead and let that go like that. It's actually very tight. If you over adjust that, when you let go of the handle, the augers may still spin. And if that's the case, you want to make sure that you unadjust that to where your augers are not spinning when the handle is in a disengaged position. And also, as you can see here, this is flapping. And if you don't have the belt cover on, I wouldn't recommend running it, because believe it or not, that belt cover actually keeps this belt just a little bit off the pulley when it's in the disengaged position. And that helps it from, one, engaging it while it's in the off position, and two, it helps the belt from getting worn out. So this is actually a guide also, and you can see through time that these get a little bit worn right here. This one isn't bad, but they right here, there's a little bit of wear right there, and that's because this is actually a belt guide. And you can see where the engine bolt was actually rubbing right here, but you have to make sure. Now what I do when I put the cover back on is I'll put the handle down on the auger. That brings the belt tension in, and then I go ahead and put the cover back on because it makes it easier to put the cover on, like that. And then I'll let go of the handle, and we'll go ahead and gotta make sure everything is in exactly the way it should be. Okay, make sure it's sitting properly. Go ahead and put your bolt on one side, bolt on the other side. And we're going to go ahead and start this up and run it just to make sure that we don't have it over tightened. And if it is over tightened, the auger will spin. That looks good. All right, so that looks good. The spring tension is a lot tighter, and it's not too tight that the augers are actually spinning when it's disengaged. Okay, so that pretty much sums up for how to adjust the auger belt tension on an older yard machine, MTD 5 horsepower Tecumseh. Just want to show you guys down here that this is the model number down here, and that's what you're going to need if you guys need parts, belts, or anything, and it is made by MTD. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share my channel with your friends, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.